How do you form a partnership with your city or county or local government in order to get funding and support to grow your programs? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. I'm Amber Melanie Smith, nonprofit founder and social entrepreneur and social impact YouTuber. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited to demystify this topic of government contracts with you with the help of my friend, Preston Ross, founder of the Great Raleigh Cleanup. Before we chat with Preston all about how he managed to build up a relationship with the city and receive some amazing funding to expand one of his truly inspiring programs. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Don't forget to check out the rest of my videos on this channel. I have over 200 videos to help you start a nonprofit or social entrepreneur or social enterprise, to help you with fundraising, to help you make an impact in other ways outside of the nonprofit space. So I hope you find those valuable. And of course, my newsletter, Changemaker Mondays, is linked below. Subscribe to that for weekly actionable tips on how to make an impact through nonprofits, social entrepreneurship, and more. Okay, all that out of the way, let's go meet my friend Preston.
My name is Preston Ross. I am the founder and executive director of a nonprofit called the Great Raleigh Cleanup. Our mission is to ensure litter-free neighborhoods for all through building community. If you had asked me 2 years ago what our mission would be, I would have said to pick up litter. But it has become much more than that. And our tagline is community and impact, because community comes first. The impact comes second, and it's something that we want, but it's about community.
Talk to me about what was your very first program and how did it evolve?
It was our volunteer litter cleanups. I posted it on a site called meetup.com, which I had just been familiar with through some other things. And I remember I posted it, our first event. It was me and my partner at the time. One other person signed up but didn't show up. And, if you do anything with volunteering, you recognize that when people sign up, that does not mean they're going to show up. But it was I figured, hey, maybe this would be something that I do once a month. We may get 2 or 3 people out. We'll see what happens. And in about our 4th or 5th event, in about 3 months, there were like 26 people. Here. This is going to be a little bit bigger than I anticipated.
Okay, so something amazing happened recently, right? You got a pretty great contract with the city of Raleigh. Can you tell me more about what the contract entails, the program that it's supporting? I guess we'll have to backtrack a little bit and talk more about the program that you developed that the city is funding too.
So the city just funded for the next 5 years a program that's called the Workforce. And the Workforce is simply a program I started that employs unhoused members of Raleigh to help us with litter cleanup, help us with beautification projects. This program came out of the fact that although our volunteer efforts were absolutely crushing it, thousands and thousands of pounds of litter removed, I wanted more. But my weekends were already full with volunteer events, and I was like, who is available to help me during the week in the morning to get out there and get more litter? And I had a relationship with Maggie Kane, who runs a place at the table. It's a pay what you can cafe, and many members of her community are unhoused. So I just brought it to her. I was like, Maggie, do you think the people who come in and volunteer with you to get food might be interested in working with me and helping me clean up litter? She said yes. October of 2023, I went to city council. I had a relationship with a city council person just from our volunteer efforts and the impact we had made there. City council gave us seed funding to see if the program worked. It ran for about 5 months. It was exceptional. They saw the impact it was having on the city, but more importantly, the lives of these persons, these humans that were participating in it. It came together, all a bunch of different departments. When you hear the city gave you money, it's like, no, it's like you got a little bit from this department, a little bit from stormwater, a little bit from solid waste, a little bit here, there. So anyway, it ultimately ended up being a nearly $500,000 contract over 5 years. So we get to continue um, doing this program and employing these persons who need it. And just some of the stories you hear are heartbreaking, but then when they tell you what they can do with the money that they earn, and I just know, even if they don't say it directly, I know it makes them feel good to be back to work and to be of use to the community and things like that.
What an innovative model. And I like to call that a creative collaboration. It's like unexpected ideas coming together and
Yep.
through the power of partnership. So that's amazing. I know folks who are watching this might be wondering, how do you work with your local government? How do you partner with them and potentially even get support like this? So I want to kind of reverse engineer this with you. And learn more about what are some of the top questions that other nonprofit founders or leaders should think about to determine first whether a partnership with their city or county government would be a good thing for them.
I think the first question you might want to ask is, would your city care about what your mission is? Um, you know, in most cases, the nonprofit work that we do, the work that we do, is has a positive societal impact. But you honestly have to ask yourself, does the city care? And in my case, does the city care about the unhoused population? Yes. Does the city care about litter in the city? Yes. So check and check. But you have to make sure that um, your mission aligns with the city, the county, whatever it may be, because there are things that we do and we want support for. It's not that the city doesn't care, but it's not like quote unquote in their budget. This is not something we'd love for you to do it and champion your cause, but if it doesn't quite align with um, if it doesn't quite align with what they feel they can invest in, it's you might not get their support. And in all honesty, I think with my workforce program, I don't think that litter is like a budget line for the city. I don't think it's like they don't have like in their strategic plan or whatever. I'm not 100% sure that the word litter shows up, but impacting the unhoused population obviously is important. You can meld those things together and you can support my mission and you get kind of like a 2-for-1. You get this work that I'm already doing and then you get to support this population that needs it most. And I think from a city perspective, it's like one thing a municipality perspective, one thing you have to be okay with is like, hey, I'm gonna do the work, but their name is gonna be on it. Like if that's something you have a problem with, then you might not have the best relationship with a city, county, state, whatever. So going forward, once we sign this contract in the next couple of days, to do meet the workforce sponsored by the city of Raleigh, I'm okay with that. I don't have an issue with that. I still that if that's all you're asking for me, and you're gonna give me $500,000 to do it, I'm down. I'm down. And we'll see how the program unfolds and how the working relationships evolves. But if that's all that the city is asking, I think I'm good with it. But like I said in the beginning, you have to make sure that what you're working on is something that the city can say we can invest in. That it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't care, but it's just politics and stuff. It has to line up with something that they can invest in.
I want to point out a couple things that you said that I thought were really interesting. So when you're talking about matching it up with what the city cares about first, that's just like any other funder. We've talked about grant writing, we've talked about how to get sponsors and other videos. And in those videos, it's all about lining up with the same values and issues that those people care about. So I think that makes a lot of sense. You talked about knowing if it was in their budget. And you mentioned a strategic plan. I know that city and county governments often have like a multi-year plan on what they hope to achieve for the city or county government. Would you say if someone just looks at those plans for their cities, is that a good way to understand what issues might align with what you're working on?
It is for some, but I'll be honest with me. I'm all about relationships. If you tell me, hey, hop online and read here, I'm like, that's probably not gonna happen. But who can I buy coffee for? Who can I buy a drink for and just kind of chat? And who can I invite to volunteer with me so they can kind of get a better understanding of what I do, what our processes are. So it depends on the person, but yeah, there are a lot of people who can deep dive into the city's and their plans, their write-ups, whatever, and find the information they need. But then there's also people like me who just like, I just want to have a conversation with you. Just like, let me know. Don't count on me to like read and figure it out. Let's just have a conversation about it and see what's what.
And maybe it's all of that, right? So maybe you
Yeah,
just start with, or also look at the strategic plan just so you can become familiar with what the city or county is working on. But I
yeah.
think you're absolutely right. Relationships are everything. And I believe I heard you say that the city came to you for this partnership. Is that correct? Can you tell me more how that happened?
Well, I guess they did come to me with the large contract, but I did ask them for the seed funding. But that only worked after I had done 3+ years of volunteer work and had proven myself. And one of the reasons that makes our workforce program so successful is that I didn't have to learn a new task. I already know how to pick up trash. I know how to dispose of it. I know how to do that properly. I just had to learn how to pay people and some financial stuff, but I already knew the base. I know how the safety protocol. I know what supplies I need. I knew all of that stuff because I did the work for so long through with my volunteers that at that point it was just give me some new people. I had to talk to an accountant. What's the best way to pay them? A lot of the folks who work with me don't have a permanent residence. They don't have all of the resources you might think you need. So I'm like, what is it that what's the easiest way for me to do this legally and to make sure we're covered, but to get these folks some money? So that was a conversation I had. It was never a conversation of, well, so what do you do? How do you pick up litter? How do we be safe? How do we dispose? No, I already knew that. I already knew
Yeah.
that. I don't know a lot, but I know that. So it was just, how do we expand it to a new community?
We want to be careful not to chase the money, right?
Oh,
And so stick to our mission, stay focused on the outcomes that we're trying to achieve and find the funders who align with that versus don't make up
yes.
programs to just get a grant or just get a contract. I just want to recap for a moment some of the highlights of what we learned from Preston today. First, I heard that it's all about starting with the work, starting with the impacts. Get out there and do what you can, even if it's small, to make an impact in the issue that you care about. Second, I heard from Preston that it's all about relationships. You can do tons of research online, but getting out there and talking to other people who want to do the work just like you is going to help you get the farthest fastest. And third, sometimes the biggest impacts happen outside of your outputs. I loved hearing Preston's story about how, yes, they measure their success in pounds of litter picked up, but what you don't see and what's not often talked about is the community building that's happening behind the scenes, the relationships that are formed, the connections that are made. So I'd love to hear what you thought about Preston's story here and working with the local government. Share it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Changemaker Mondays, our action-packed newsletter with tips and strategies to help you as you make an impact. The link is below. That's all I have for you today. I'm Amber Melanie Smith, and I'll see you next time. Bye.